Welcome to Inside Insights, your quick hit of tips, tools, and trends for manufacturing, distribution, and Dynamics 365 Business Central, brought to you by InsightWorks.
I want you to imagine just for a second the perfect, high-speed, modern warehouse. Just really picture it in your mind.
Oh yeah, everything just humming along beautifully.
Exactly. You have these forklifts gliding seamlessly down the aisles, conveyor belts whirring in the background, and, that constant, satisfying beep, beep, beep of laser scanners.
Hitting those barcodes perfectly every single time.
Right. It is a symphony of logistics. Until, suddenly, a pallet arrives at the receiving dock, and the vendor simply forgot to stick a barcode on it. Or maybe the label got completely torn off in transit.
Which happens all the time.
And just like that, the music stops. The whole system just grinds to a halt.
It really is the logistical equivalent of hitting a brick wall. All that momentum, all that perfectly calibrated speed, it just vanishes the second the physical world stops cooperating with your digital system.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we are getting into today. Welcome to the deep dive. We are pulling from this fascinating stack of source material. Today, we've got technical white papers, implementation guides, and some really detailed case studies, all from a company called InsightWorks.
And the focus here is incredibly practical.
It is. Our mission is to explore how their middle ground solution, specifically using optical character recognition, or OCR, is fundamentally changing how data is captured inside Dynamics 365 Business Central. We're looking at how they are removing that massive bottleneck of the missing barcode.
It's a huge pain point for so many operations.
Definitely. And going back to that bottleneck, it kind of reminds me of trying to read and translate a complex technical manual, but finding out that every fifth word is written in invisible ink.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. You have the overall structure, but the critical data is missing, so you have to stop everything you're doing, guess the context, and just manually fill in the blanks. It kills your momentum entirely. It's like driving on a state-of-the-art superhighway, only to hit a massive unpaved pothole.
Yeah, that translates perfectly to the warehouse floor. But, before we can even look at how InsightWorks fixes that missing text, we have to understand exactly why missing barcodes create such a nightmare for warehouse managers in the first place.
So, what is the ideal scenario they are aiming for?
Well, the standard goal, the absolute ideal state for any warehouse operation, is to have vendor or manufacturer barcodes already perfectly placed on all incoming products.
Because when you have those barcodes, the workflow is just beautiful. A worker scans the label and it is instantly cross-referenced.
Exactly.
The sources note that this happens cleanly through item references, custom mappings, or GTIN fields. And for those who might not live and breathe supply chain acronyms, GTIN stands for Global Trade Item. Number those universally recognized barcodes you see on retail products everywhere.
Right. And when a scanner reads that GTIN, the physical verification is instantaneous. Think of Dynamics 365 Business Central as the central nervous system of your entire operation.
Okay, the central brain.
Yeah. A warehouse is essentially two separate entities, really.
Yeah.
You have the physical building full of actual boxes, and then you have the virtual warehouse, the digital twin living inside that central nervous system.
And they have to match perfectly.
Exactly. Every single barcode scan acts as this microscopic anchor, keeping your virtual inventory perfectly synced with the physical world. If the physical reality says you have 50 boxes of bolts sitting in aisle 4, the digital system needs to reflect exactly 50 boxes in real time.
Right, so we have the ideal state, but then reality hits. The barcodes are missing, or, maybe you have existing bin racking hundreds of metal shelves stretching all the way to the ceiling that simply lack barcode labels altogether.
Which is incredibly common in older facilities.
So what happens to the manager in that moment? Because our sources paint a pretty grim picture of the choices they face when the data just isn't there.
The choices are incredibly disruptive. On one hand, you halt the receiving process and spend extensive time and money printing and applying new labels everywhere.
Like a massive retrofitting project on the fly.
Exactly. Yeah. Or, on the other hand, you rely on manual entry. A worker looks at the printed number on the box, pulls up the interface on their device, and literally types it in by hand.
And typing things by hand in a fast-paced environment just sounds like an open invitation for disaster.
Oh, it is.
It's painfully slow, and you are basically guaranteeing that someone, eventually, is going to fat finger a crucial lot number or an expiration date.
Right, because manual entry just shatters that physical verification we talked about. The moment a human is visually interpreting and manually typing data, the discrete synchronization between the physical and virtual worlds starts to fray.
You introduce risk.
You introduce a ton of risk, compounding errors, and severe delays downstream.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here, though. I'm reading these implementation guides, and they really emphasize how painful it is to stop and print labels. But I mean, printers are cheap. Hitting print takes 1 second. Why are these warehouse managers acting like printing the label is a monumental crisis?
Well, it comes down to the sheer scale of warehouse operations. Yes, printing a single label for one box is easy.
Right, 1 box is nothing.
But we aren't talking about a single label. Imagine receiving a shipment of 5,000 individual items from a new overseas vendor who just doesn't use standard barcodes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or imagine deciding you want to start tracking inventory at the micro level, but your warehouse has 5,000 individual bin locations on the racking, and not a single one of them have a barcode sticker.
Yeah, I see the compounding effect there now. That's a lot of stickers.
Suddenly, just hit print turns into a 3-month capital expenditure project. You have to purchase specialty industrial-grade adhesive labels. You have to pay workers to physically walk up and down miles of aisles, literally wiping dust and grease off metal racks.
Oh man, just so the stickers will stick.
Exactly, and perfectly applying thousands of stickers, so they are completely flat for a laser scanner to read them. Alternatively, you have to strong-arm your vendors to completely change their packaging processes right away.
Which they never want to do.
Right. So the implementation barrier is enormous. It paralyzes businesses to the point where they just say, it's too much work, we'll just keep typing it in manually.
And that brings us to the pothole fix, the middle ground. Instead of forcing the warehouse to adapt the barcode, InsightWorks is adapting the technology to the warehouse.
Exactly.
They are introducing barcode-free scanning via OCR optical character recognition.
Yeah, they are deploying text scanning directly through their warehouse apps for Business Central, namely Warehouse Insight and their free entry-level version, WMS Express.
So wait, do warehouses need to buy specialized million-dollar camera rigs to make this happen, or can they use existing hardware? The guides mention a few brand names, but how accessible is this really?
It's highly accessible. No extra specialized hardware is needed beyond the compatible, rugged mobile devices that many of these teams are already utilizing on the floor.
Oh, so they just use what they have.
Yep. The software supports Android-based devices from major industry manufacturers like Honeywell and Datalogic, and it even offers some support for legacy Windows hardware. The magic isn't in some fancy new lens, it's in the software unlocking the device's existing camera.
Okay, so instead of shining a red laser line to measure the varying widths of black and white barcode bars, the device's camera simply looks at the box.
Exactly.
It reads legible, printed, human-readable text. We are talking item numbers, vendor product codes, lot numbers, serial numbers, expiration dates, and those bin codes painted on the racking. It's like teaching the scanner to finally read human language instead of just understanding robot barcode language.
That's a great way to think about it. You are essentially giving the scanner literacy. And the way it does this is pretty fascinating. It's not just taking a photograph.
Right, it's more dynamic than that.
Yeah, the OCR software uses pattern matching algorithms to actively pull character data out of a live image feed, converting the visual shapes of letters and numbers into digital text strings as reliably and nearly as quickly as a traditional barcode scan.
Now, looking at the case studies, there's a really interesting difference in the user experience depending on what brand of scanner you are holding in your hand.
Yes, the hardware nuances really dictate the workflow here. If you are using certain Honeywell models, for example, the experience is incredibly fluid and aggressive. You simply aim the device, and the software instantly recognizes the text, captures it, and processes it.
So it's rapid-fire data collection.
Exactly, rapid fire.
Yeah.
But on the Datalogic models, the workflow features a built-in safety net. There is a quick preview step.
Oh, interesting. How does that work?
Well, the device captures the image, shows you exactly what text it interpreted right there on the screen, and you physically confirm it before the final posting.
Which I imagine is incredibly valuable if you are scanning something highly sensitive.
Oh, absolutely.
Like imagine you are capturing a pharmaceutical lot number or a hazardous material expiration date. Having that half-second visual check to confirm the software read the text perfectly adds a huge layer of operational confidence.
Exactly. It caters to different operational paces, but both methods feel completely natural to the user.
Okay, so the camera is literate now. But a smart camera doesn't help if the worker has to navigate 5 submenus to use it. How does this actually look in the hands of a worker on the receiving dock?
That's the real test, right?
Yeah. Let's walk through some real-world scenarios from our deep dive materials. Imagine you are standing on the dock holding one of these rugged scanners.
Let's start with receiving, because that front door is where the missing barcode problem usually begins. A pallet arrives. The vendor didn't include a barcode, but they did clearly print their alphanumeric vendor code in big block letters on the side of the cardboard.
And historically, the worker sighs, walks over to a stationary computer terminal, and starts typing.
Right. But with this OCR setup, you just point your scanner at the side of the box. The device captures the printed text using the camera. Then, instantly, the system queries Business Central, finds the exact matching line in your purchase order or warehouse receipt, and pulls it up on your screen.
Wow, just from reading the text.
Yep. You just enter the quantity received, or let it default to the expected amount, and that update posts to the central nervous system in real time.
It completely eliminates the manual search and data entry. Now apply that same logic to the bin location scenario we discussed earlier. We talked about the nightmare of retrofitting thousands of metal racks with adhesive labels.
A sticker project from hell.
Right.
If your warehouse already has bin codes painted, stenciled, or labeled on the racking in plain human-readable text, you bypass the sticker project entirely.
That's huge.
Workers just walk up to the aisle, aim the rugged device at the existing printed bin code on the metal rack, and the OCR reads it. They can immediately inquire about the inventory on that shelf or move it to a new location with full digital accuracy. Zero relabeling required.
That is massive for a company's bottom line. But here is the scenario that really blew my mind when I was reading through the sources, because it shows how this isn't an all-or-nothing proposition. The white papers detail a mixed environment strategy.
This is where the operational design proves its flexibility on the floor.
Yeah, imagine you are dealing with lot-tracked or serial-tracked items. Let's say a medical device package has a standard UPC barcode on it for the main product ID, but the specific unique lot number is just stamped on the cardboard in plain text by a dot matrix printer.
Very common in medical manufacturing.
The worker can actually combine capture methods on the fly. You scan the standard UPC barcode first with the laser because it's insanely fast. Then, without switching screens or pressing a bunch of buttons, you seamlessly use the camera's OCR to scan the printed human-readable lot text right next to it.
You capture the item ID and the specific lot data in 2 quick pulls of the trigger, entirely skipping manual typing.
Exactly. But the technical mechanics of how that works raises an important question about accuracy. Human text can be incredibly messy. Boxes get scuffed, fonts vary, and there is often a lot of irrelevant text printed on a shipping label.
That's a very valid concern.
How does the scanner know to grab the lot number and not the zip code next to it? I was wondering that myself. If the box says LOT 107 and right below it says weight 50 pounds, how does the camera avoid pulling the wrong data?
The InsightWorks system solves this by allowing managers to define specific OCR rules directly on the device. It uses bounding boxes and contextual constraint.
Oh, okay. So you can target it.
Exactly. For critical fields like lot numbers, you can tell the scanner exactly how to behave. You can set a rule to explicitly look for the prefix LOT and only capture the alphanumeric string immediately following it.
That is really clever.
Furthermore, the algorithms are sophisticated enough to distinguish letters from similar-looking numbers, ensuring a capital O in LOT isn't misread as a 0 or capital I isn't read as a number 1.
So you're giving the camera guardrails so it doesn't get distracted by all the surrounding noise on the box?
And this highlights the true strategic value of this technology. This isn't about declaring war on barcodes or trying to replace them entirely. It is strictly about eliminating implementation barriers. Warehouses no longer have to force their vendors to change processes overnight or execute massive relabeling projects just to get a mobile management system off the ground. You can start scanning today with exactly the packaging and racking you already have.
I am going to push back on that slightly, though. If OCR is getting this fast, and the pattern matching algorithms are this smart, and bounding boxes make it foolproof, why bother with barcodes at all? Why not just scan text for absolutely everything and throw the barcode printers in the trash?
We still have to respect the physics of data capture. Barcodes remain the undisputed gold standard for pure, high-volume speed and verification.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
A barcode is designed specifically for a machine to read instantly from various angles, even if it's slightly smudged or poorly lit. OCR is incredibly fast, but reading Isolating and interpreting human text will always take a fraction of a second longer and require a bit more visual clarity than a laser hitting a high-contrast 1D barcode.
So it's not quite a total replacement yet.
Think of OCR as the ultimate safety net and bridge. It removes the friction when barcodes are missing, but it doesn't dethrone them for raw throughput.
Got it. Use the barcode for maximum speed when you have it. Fall back to OCR text scanning when you don't. The system handles all of it smoothly. So you're on the floor, moving fast, whether you have a barcode or not. But how does this all wire back into the central brain of the company? Because none of this matters if the data is just sitting locally on a handheld scanner.
The integration story is where the return on investment really crystallizes. This entire OCR capability feeds directly into Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central.
And InsightWorks structured this integration into two distinct tiers, depending on what the business actually needs, right?
Yes, exactly.
So let's break down those tiers. Tier 1 is WMS Express, and the most shocking part about this in our sources, it's completely free.
It functions as an incredible entry point. WMS Express is entirely free for core warehouse operations. So that's your receiving, picking, shipping, and basic inventory counts or movements.
And the OCR is just included.
Yep. The OCR capability is included right out of the box for businesses using standard or basic warehouse setups in Business Central Cloud.
They're essentially removing every financial excuse a business has to not digitize their floor. And then for the power users with highly complex environments, there is Tier 2 Warehouse Insight.
Warehouse Insight is the scaled-up enterprise version. If your operation requires deep customization, this is where you go. It adds the app designer for tailoring the interface, includes license plate tracking for moving entire pallets as a single unit, enables advanced counts, and unlocks access to their full suite of complementary apps.
Regardless of which tier you use, there is this fascinating workflow that the implementation guides outline. I'm calling it the printing loophole.
Yes. The idea that OCR actually fuels better barcoding downstream.
Yes, it's a brilliant paradox. We spent all this time talking about how OCR saves you from having to print labels, but the system is actually designed to help you print them when the time is right. The workflow goes like this. A box arrives with no barcode. You use the camera's OCR to scan the printed vendor text to receive the item into Business Central without friction. But once it is captured and received in the system, you can immediately trigger a printer to spit out a proper standardized barcode label for that lot or item.
You fix the vendor's mistake at the front door. You use OCR to get the data into the system smoothly, tag the physical box with a fresh standard barcode, and from that point forward, all the downstream processes, the picking, the shipping, the internal cycle counts, they all benefit from that fast, reliable laser barcode scan.
To make that printing loophole work seamlessly, the sources highlight specific tools InsightWorks includes, which they call power tools. And again, this all happens without leaving the Business Central platform.
There are two key power tools driving this. First is the barcode generator power tool. This allows you to add standard or custom barcodes directly to your Business Central reports.
And it isn't just basic barcodes either.
No, it supports a wide array of formats, one-dimensional, two-dimensional data matrix, and crucially, GS1 128 barcodes.
And for anyone unfamiliar, GS1 128 barcodes are vital in complex supply chains because they can encode extra data like batch numbers, weights, and exact shelf life expiration dates directly into a single scan. You can print these highly detailed labels right during the receiving process, or pre-print them if you prefer.
That ensures you remain compliant with whatever strict tracking standards your specific industry demands, whether that is food and beverage or pharmaceuticals. The second tool is the print node connector.
Also free, right?
Much like WMS Express, this connector is entirely free. It enables cloud printing directly from the handheld rugged devices.
Imagine the operational advantage there. You are a worker standing on the receiving dock. You scan the text with OCR, hit a single button on your device's touchscreen, and through the cloud, the new GS1 128 barcode label instantly spits out of the assigned printer sitting right next to you on the dock.
There is no walking back to a desktop terminal, no logging into third-party software, no extra steps.
The simplicity is the true innovation, and that extends right down to the setup process. Historically, implementation was the scariest word in warehousing. It meant months of downtime. But the guides detail a remarkably quick deployment.
Very quick.
You simply install the extension directly from the Microsoft Marketplace app source. You run a standard assisted setup wizard to connect the software to your warehouse location. You configure your device's scanning behaviors, often by just scanning a single configuration barcode on your screen to set the parameters, and you are ready to go.
And if you do hit a snag, the documentation includes a highly detailed knowledge base. They have step-by-step guides on device configuration, optimizing those OCR bounding box rules we talked about, and troubleshooting.
It really feels like they looked at every single reason a warehouse manager would say, no, this is too hard, and systematically eliminated them one by one.
It serves as a masterclass in lowering barriers to entry. By offering this OCR flexibility, InsightWorks is telling businesses you don't have to fight your missing barcodes anymore. You don't have to pause your operations for a massive, capital-draining relabeling project.
You can just get to work.
Whether you are starting small and utilizing the free WMS Express or scaling up to the full enterprise power of Warehouse Insight, you can start scanning today with the hardware and the unbarcoded racking you already have.
Most importantly, you keep that digital twin, that virtual inventory inside the central nervous system of Business Central, perfectly synced with the physical reality on your floor in real time. It's about bringing that symphony of logistics back up to tempo.
It provides a profound shift toward adaptability and cost-effectiveness.
If you are listening to this and you are tired of watching your workers manually type in lot numbers, or you are dreading an upcoming racking relabeling project, you can actually explore this yourself. The white papers point out you can visit wmsfordynamics.com or wmsexpress.com to learn more, check out the compatible hardware options we discussed, or even request a demo from your Microsoft partner.
It is absolutely worth investigating if your operation relies on Business Central. Upgrading from manual data entry to optical character recognition fundamentally transforms your accuracy and operational speed.
It really does, and it leaves me with this thought. If our handheld devices are now smart enough to simply read the physical boxes in front of them, using pattern matching to recognize human text almost instantly, how long until the traditional barcode, as brilliant and reliable as it is, starts to feel as outdated as a dial-up modem?
As the boundaries between the physical and digital continue to blur, the way we capture reality is only going to get more seamless.
And looking at your own life or business, what other manual data entry bottlenecks are just waiting for the day the system finally learns how to read the physical world around it? We started this deep dive talking about translating a book written in invisible ink. With OCR, it feels like we aren't just revealing the ink, we are teaching the system how to read the book for us. You never have to lose your momentum again.